Cancer Awareness Month, I decided to do a talk on some lifestyle and nutrition strategies that we are aware of that help to decrease our risk of breast cancer. So we know that one out of every 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer, but there are definitely things that we know in the research that help to decrease our risk through a healthy diet and lifestyle. There was some research done, and researchers created something called the Healthy Lifestyle Index, and they showed that, this is research, we don't know exactly how applicable this is because it wasn't a randomized controlled trial, but they revealed that 80% a decrease of risk of breast cancer in women who engaged in the following: avoiding tobacco, avoiding alcohol, daily exercise, and a plant-based diet. The slightest bit of alcohol may increase risk. Even just one drink of alcohol per day may increase risk of breast cancer in women, except red wine. That's where there's a little bit of discrepancy in the data, because there are some benefits from the grapes that the wine is made with, just red wine, and to get those benefits, if you don't want the harmful effects of the alcohol, you can always just eat grapes instead. Physical activity is key for reducing our risk of breast cancer. It does this by helping to control weight, and also it tends to lower circulating estrogen levels. Recommended amount is 5 hours a week of vigorous exercise or 1 hour of walking, or what we call moderate level exercise. And that may seem like a lot of exercise for most people, but just keep in mind that any level of activity is better than none. Certain foods that have been studied and researched quite a bit regarding a reduction of our risk for breast cancer are high fiber foods. They may help: flax, cruciferous vegetables, pumpkin, and sunflower seeds. And I'm going to go over those. So a meta-analysis showed every 10 grams per day increased fiber intake resulted in a 7% reduced risk of breast cancer. So high fiber foods are going to be like beans, bran cereal, fruit, vegetables, nuts, seeds, whole grains. For women, you want to aim for 21 to 25 grams of fiber per day. So you can just check your food labels on that. Flaxseed, there's so much good data on women's health and flaxseed. So consumption of flax alone, when they looked at it in the research, was correlated with the 20 to 30% reduction in breast cancer risk. Just a tip for how you can get that in: I generally include about a tablespoon in my oatmeal daily, or I'll put it in a smoothie. I've made flaxseed crackers with it. I've made bran muffins and included the ground flaxseed in that as well. And you can find ground flaxseed just about anywhere, or you can buy it in the whole seed form and then ground it at home yourself, which helps to increase the absorption. Consumption of sunflower and pumpkin seeds may help to reduce risk. That's just a little bit of the data that I came across. Cruciferous vegetables. And not only are cruciferous vegetables good for helping to decrease risk of breast cancer, but really all different types of cancer. It says may cut risk of cancer progression by more than half. Examples of cruciferous vegetables, or vegetables that are in this family, include broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, kale, bok choy, arugula, Brussels sprouts, collards, watercress, radishes, including horseradish, wasabi, rutabaga, turnips, and then just tips on how you can get that in. Put them in stir fries, snacks, wraps, kale smoothies, kale chips, cauliflower rice, and just try to include that as a part of your grocery list every week. Make sure every week you have some sort of cruciferous vegetable, even as little as less than 1 serving a day, which is a half of a cup. was found to be beneficial in reducing risk. Things that may increase your risk of breast cancer, you know, we see a lot with excess animal protein. There's a lot of research out there about that. Definitely a lot of research on animal protein that's cooked at high temperatures. So be careful with your cooking temperatures, and I'll go in a little bit more about that. Excess weight and elevated circulating cholesterol levels. So you want to make sure that you are monitoring, your doctor's monitoring your cholesterol levels, and you want to make sure they're in a healthy range. And following most of the practices that I'm going to talk about today will help with those cholesterol levels. So the guidelines on animal protein, we want to make sure we're limiting our meats, poultry and eggs to 3 to 4 ounces per day. That's about the size of a deck of cards. When eating red meat, prepare it rare or medium, marinate when possible. They found that people who were eating their meats, grilling them, or eating them well done had almost a 45% increased risk of breast cancer. So you want to make sure that you're not cooking your meat to death as far as your red meat. Tip, so you want to do the opposite. You want to cook at lower temperatures for a longer amount of time. Bake, stew, steam, or boil meats over frying and grilling. So just some closing key points. Eat lots of high fiber foods. You want to aim for 25 to 30 grams of fiber per day, especially include flaxseed. I cannot say enough how beneficial flaxseed is for women's health. Make sure you're getting your cruciferous vegetables in. Steam, stew, boil, bake foods. Don't use tobacco. Limit your alcohol. Limit your meat. Increase your physical activity to at least 40 to 60 minutes a day, and work to achieve and maintain a healthy weight. So those are all nice recommendations. And of course, breast cancer would be less if, and a lot of other cancers and chronic diseases, if we could follow that advice. So sometimes it's harder to do it than just saying it. So if you need some help, I'm a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and a personal trainer and coach. So if you need some help on how to actually put those practices into your daily life, definitely contact me. That's my email, lakeawell@gmail.com. And you can visit my website at lakeawell.com for a list of my services. But I just want to reiterate that breast cancer awareness is so important to me because, like I said at the beginning, my mom, or I said in the comments that my mom died from breast cancer when she was 35, so very young. And I just want to increase the awareness as much as possible. One thing that I didn't talk about is soda intake. I didn't find anything specific related to soda intake for breast cancer, but we do know that increased consumption of soda overall is risk associated with a higher mortality. So anyway, keep that in mind with your beverages as well. So that is all I have, and thank you for tuning in.